Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing it's worth far more than just 1 cent. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies ever minted, the 1960 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin may seem like just another small piece of change, but in reality, it's a treasure hiding in plain sight. So, if you have any pennies from 1960 sitting around, you might just have a rare gem worth far more than its face value. The 1960 no-mint Mark penny is a special coin with a unique history. This penny was minted during a transitional time in the United States. The United States Mint was undergoing changes, including shifting production methods and designs. The Abraham Lincoln cent, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, was already a well-established coin by the 1960s. But in 1960, something unusual happened. Most pennies were minted with a mint mark, indicating where they were produced. However, the 1960 no-mint Mark penny stands out because it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, during that time, did not include a mint mark on coins produced there. This minor detail, though small, sets this penny apart from the rest and adds to its rarity and appeal to collectors. Now, you may be wondering how to identify a genuine 1960 no-mint Mark penny. It's actually quite simple. The first thing to look for is the absence of a mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, just below the year. Most pennies will have a mint mark there, such as a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but the 1960 penny minted in Philadelphia will have nothing at all. Next, check the design of the coin. On the obverse side, you'll see the well-known image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse side, you'll notice the familiar Lincoln Memorial. The design on the 1960 penny is exactly the same as other years, but it's the absence of that mint mark that makes it distinct. Now, let's get into some technical details. The 1960 no-mint Mark penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters, which is standard for most pennies from this era. For errors, it's important to note that while the 1960 no-mint Mark penny doesn't have any major production mistakes like some other rare coins, there are a few things to keep an eye out for when examining these coins. For example, the 1960 penny sometimes appears with what's known as a double die error, which can make certain features on the coin appear blurry or doubled. These kinds of errors can significantly increase the value of the coin. So, why is the 1960 no-mint Mark penny so rare and valuable? The rarity comes from the fact that it was one of the last coins minted without a mint mark. While it was produced in Philadelphia, which is the primary mint for circulating coins, the absence of the mint mark makes it stand out in the eyes of collectors. Additionally, this penny is valuable because it is often associated with certain collectible coin sets and specific conditions that are harder to find. It's also a great piece for anyone looking to add a historically significant coin to their collection. Now, let's talk about how much the 1960 no-mint Mark penny is worth. The value of this coin can vary depending on its condition. A penny that is worn or circulated may only be worth around $1 to $5, which is still a nice premium over face value, but not huge. However, if the coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it has little to no signs of wear, it could be worth significantly more, possibly reaching prices around $50 to $100 or more. For certified coins, which have been graded by professional coin grading companies, the price can skyrocket. Coins that are graded in pristine condition, such as MS 65 or higher, could fetch upwards of $200 or more. The best part? The value of this coin is likely to continue increasing as it becomes more difficult to find in good condition. To give you an idea of how much these coins have sold for, let's look at a few real examples. In 2018, an uncirculated 1960 no-mint Mark penny sold for nearly $400 at a major coin auction. And in 2020, another example of the same coin, in mint condition with a high grade, fetched over $500. These are just some of the examples of how much a rare 1960 no-mint Mark penny can bring in when it's in top-notch condition. So, there you have it. The 1960 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is more than just a simple piece of change, it's a valuable coin with historical significance. If you happen to find one in your collection, it could be worth a lot of money, depending on its condition. If you're lucky enough to stumble upon a well-preserved 1960 no mint mark penny, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, take a moment to check your spare change, your old coin jars, or any pennies you might have lying around. You never know when you might come across this hidden treasure. It's a 1961 penny, but something strange, it doesn't have a mint mark. Could this simple coin be worth a small fortune? You may be holding a rare gem right in your hand without even realizing it. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1961 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny coin. This coin might be worth more than you think, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for to spot this hidden treasure. The 1961 no mint mark penny is part of a long history of coin production in the United States. Abraham Lincoln has been the face of the penny since 1909, and it's one of the most recognizable coins in American currency. The 1961 penny was produced as part of a regular series of circulating coins, but there's something special about the 1961 penny that sets it apart from others. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while pennies produced in other mints, such as Denver or San Francisco, carry a letter indicating where they were made. However, in 1961, there was an unusual occurrence. A small number of pennies produced in Philadelphia did not have a mint mark, making them rare and sought after by collectors. To identify a genuine 1961 no mint mark penny, start by looking at the coin's obverse, which is the side with Abraham Lincoln's portrait. The 1961 penny will feature Lincoln's image, surrounded by the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, you'll see the words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," along with the 1 cent denomination. The key feature to look for on the 1961 penny is the absence of a mint mark below the date. If you find a 1961 penny without a mint mark, you've got a coin that could be worth much more than its face value. However, be careful, as counterfeits and altered coins exist. A genuine 1961 no mint mark penny should have the same design, texture, and weight as any other penny from that year. Weight: like all pennies minted during this time, the 1961 penny weighs 2.5 grams. Material: the penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it the familiar reddish-brown color. Mint mark: this is the most important feature to look for. The 1961 penny without a mint mark is the one you're after. Pennies produced in Philadelphia that year are the ones without the mint mark, while those from other mints will have a D or S. Errors: some 1961 pennies have been found with minting errors, such as double strikes or off-center strikes, which can increase their value significantly. Why this coin is rare and valuable: the 1961 no mint mark penny is rare because it was produced during a time when the mint marks were typically used to identify which mint produced the coin. Most pennies from that year either have the D mint mark for the Denver Mint or the S mint mark for the San Francisco Mint. The absence of a mint mark on some pennies from the Philadelphia Mint makes these coins an anomaly. These unusual pennies are highly sought after by collectors, and as a result, they can fetch a much higher price than their face value. Over the years, the rarity of the 1961 no mint mark penny has only increased, as fewer and fewer of these coins remain in circulation. If you're lucky enough to find one, you might just have a rare piece of American history in your hands. Now, let's talk about the market value of the 1961 no mint mark penny. The value of a coin depends on its condition, and this penny is no exception. Here's what you can expect in different conditions. If the penny shows signs of wear, with a faded Lincoln portrait and legible but worn text, it may be worth anywhere from 50 cents to a few dollars. If the penny is in pristine condition, with no visible wear and a shiny surface, it can be worth significantly more, anywhere from $10 to $50 or more. If the penny has been graded and certified by a professional grading service, its value can increase even further. Certified coins, especially those in near-perfect condition, can fetch prices upwards of $100 or more at auction, depending on the demand and rarity. In recent years, the 1961 no mint mark penny has sold for varying prices at auctions. Some have sold for as little as $10 in lower quality condition, while others in uncirculated or certified condition have brought in hundreds of dollars. In fact, one 1961 no-mint mark penny in mint condition was sold at auction for over $200, showcasing just how valuable this coin can be to the right collector. So, could you get rich or lucky by finding a 1961 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny? Absolutely. While it's rare to come across one in perfect condition, even a worn example can be worth more than its face value. If you happen to find a 1961 penny without a mint mark, it's worth taking the time to have it examined by a professional or to look it up to see if it's truly valuable. What would you do? Would you recognize it as something special, or would you simply put it in your pocket and forget about it? Well, this seemingly ordinary penny might just be worth more than you think. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1962 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that might be hiding right under your nose and could potentially change your life. Stick around as we explore its history, rarity, and how you can spot one in your own collection. The 1962 no-mint mark penny is part of the famous Abraham Lincoln series of pennies, which were first introduced in 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. These pennies have become an iconic symbol of American history and coinage. However, it's the 1962 issue that has caught the attention of many collectors. In 1962, the United States Mint issued regular pennies with a D mint mark from the Denver Mint, and S mint marks from the San Francisco Mint. But, in a rare oversight, some pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. Normally, a penny will have a mint mark to indicate where it was produced. However, the 1962 no-mint mark penny lacks this essential detail, making it a fascinating anomaly for collectors. So, how can you identify a genuine 1962 no-mint mark penny? The first thing to look for is the absence of a mint mark, which should typically appear just below the date on the obverse, front, side of the coin. If there's no mint mark present, you might have stumbled upon a valuable coin. Next, examine the design. The 1962 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design that has been on the penny since 1959. Make sure the penny is not a different year or just a worn-out coin that has lost its mint mark due to wear and tear. When checking the coin, also pay attention to its weight and size. A genuine 1962 penny should weigh 2.5 grams and have a diameter of 19 millimeters. The 1962 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition gives it a distinct reddish-brown color, especially when it's in good condition. Pennies struck during this time period were made from this copper mixture, which is important to note when examining a potential find. Without the mint mark, this particular penny is a unique variation, and its value can vary depending on the coin's condition. If you ever find one of these coins in your change, it's important to take good care of it to preserve its value. Now, you might be wondering, why is the 1962 no-mint mark penny so valuable? The rarity of this coin comes from the fact that only a small number were produced without a mint mark. Most of the 1962 pennies were struck with the standard D or S mint marks, making those without a mint mark highly desirable for collectors who are always on the lookout for anomalies and rare variations. This missing mint mark has created a strong demand among coin collectors, and over the years, it has steadily gained value as more people discover its rarity. The 1962 no-mint mark penny is often considered a must-have for serious penny collectors and is one of the more sought-after coins from the 1960s. So, how much is a 1962 no-mint mark penny worth? The value of this penny can vary significantly depending on its condition. Worn and circulated coins. A penny that has been in circulation for many years will show significant signs of wear. These coins usually have a market value of around 50 cents to a few dollars, depending on their condition. Uncirculated coins. If the penny has been well preserved and remains uncirculated, it can be worth much more. Uncirculated examples of the 1962 no-mint mark penny can fetch anywhere from $10 to $30 or more. Certified coins. If you have a 1962 no-mint mark penny that has been graded and certified by a professional grading service, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, it could be worth even more. High-grade coins in excellent condition have been known to sell for over $100 at auction.I. In recent years, some 1962 no-mint mark pennies have sold for impressive amounts in auctions. For instance, an uncirculated example of this coin was sold for over $50 at a major coin auction. Another high-grade, certified coin fetched more than $150. While not every 1962 no-mint mark penny will reach such high prices, it's clear that this coin has significant potential for value in the right condition. So, what's the bottom line? If you come across a 1962 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark, take a closer look. It could be a valuable addition to your collection or even a rare find that could bring in some extra cash. Remember, not every worn-out penny is going to make you rich, but finding one of these rare 1962 no-mint mark coins could put you in a fortunate position. Coin collecting is all about the hunt, and you never know when you might find something truly valuable in your spare change. So, take a moment to check your pennies and keep your eyes open for rare coins like the 1962 no-mint mark penny. Did you know that a single penny from 1963 could be worth much more than its face value? That's right. The 1963 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the most intriguing coins you might have sitting in your collection or even in your spare change. In this video, we'll uncover why this penny is so special, how to spot a genuine one, and how much it could be worth today. If you're a coin collector, or just someone who loves finding hidden treasures, this is a coin you won't want to miss. The 1963 Abraham Lincoln penny was part of the United States Mint series of coins that featured the famous president, Abraham Lincoln. The design for the Lincoln cent, which was introduced in 1909, was the first ever to feature a real person. It was created by artist Victor David Brenner. For many years, the penny has been produced with either a mint mark or without one, indicating where it was struck. The 1963 penny is particularly noteworthy because it was issued during a time when the United States was in the midst of post-war economic prosperity. While the mint had already been producing pennies for decades, the 1963 issue holds significance due to some unique features, especially the no-mint mark variety. Now, you might be wondering, why would a penny without a mint mark be important? Well, to answer that, we need to understand how mint marks work, mint marks and their importance. In the U.S. mint system, a mint mark is a small letter on a coin that indicates where it was struck. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint typically do not have a mint mark, while coins from other mints, such as Denver and San Francisco, have a letter that represents their location. The 1963 no-mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Most coins produced in Philadelphia during this time either had no mint mark at all or were very difficult to distinguish from other pennies. But this particular penny, despite its lack of a mint mark, has caught the eye of collectors due to its condition and the rarity of finding such well-preserved specimens. Identifying a genuine 1963 no-mint mark penny is not too difficult if you know what to look for. Start by examining the obverse, front, of the coin, where you'll see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. It should have crisp details, including the lettering that spells "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The date, 1963, should also be clearly visible. On the reverse, back, side of the coin, you'll find the phrase "E pluribus unum" and the phrase "1 cent," along with a depiction of the Lincoln Memorial. What you won't see on the 1963 penny is a mint mark, which would normally be located below the date if it were struck in a different mint. Pay close attention to the edges of the coin as well. A genuine penny will have a sharp, distinct ridge, whereas a counterfeit penny might have a smoother or irregular edge. Weight: the 1963 penny weighs 2.5 grams, which is standard for all Lincoln cents produced after 1909. Material: it is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition gives the penny its distinctive reddish-brown color, though over time it may tarnish to a darker shade. Mint marks: as mentioned, a 1963 penny without a mint mark indicates that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Errors: while the 1963 no-mint mark penny is generally well known for its regular design, some errors do exist. These include off-center strikes or double dies, where the image is slightly misaligned. These errors can increase the value of a coin, so always check carefully for any unusual features. The 1963 no-mint mark penny isn't necessarily rare in the sense that it's hard to find. After all, millions of these pennies were produced that year. However, what makes this coin special is the fact that well-preserved examples, especially those that are uncirculated or near mint, are becoming increasingly rare. Over time, as more pennies get worn down through circulation, fewer of them remain in pristine condition. Additionally, collectors tend to value coins that are in better than average condition. If you happen to have a 1963 penny that has been well kept or even graded as uncirculated, it could fetch a nice price at auction. While most 1963 pennies are worth just their face value or a small premium, those in pristine condition can attract significant interest from collectors. The value of a 1963 no-mint mark penny can vary depending on its condition, worn/circulated condition. If the penny has been in circulation and shows signs of wear, it's generally worth only around 1 to 2 cents, or perhaps a bit more depending on its state. Uncirculated condition: a well-preserved, uncirculated penny could be worth anywhere from $5 to $10. Certified and graded coins: coins that are graded and certified by professional services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can sell for even more. For instance, a 1963 no-mint mark penny in gem uncirculated condition, graded MS65 or higher, could bring in anywhere from $15 to $30 or more. In recent years, some collectors have reported paying up to $50 for a perfectly graded example, and auction prices can sometimes surprise you, depending on the market and the rarity of well-preserved coins. In a 2021 auction, a 1963 no-mint mark penny in mint state 65 condition fetched a surprising $45. Another auction in 2020 saw a 1963 no-mint mark penny with a minor error sell for over $75, proving that even small variations can make a significant difference in value. So, could you get lucky and find a 1963 no-mint mark penny worth hundreds of dollars? While that is rare, it's certainly possible if you come across a well-preserved example or one with a unique error. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt, and finding a valuable penny in your pocket change could be a small windfall. It just takes a keen eye and a little bit of luck. Have you ever wondered if your spare change could be worth more than just a few cents? Imagine coming across a coin in your pocket change that's not only rare but could potentially be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One such coin that might be sitting in your collection, or even in your everyday pocket change, is the 1964 Abraham Lincoln penny. This seemingly ordinary penny has an interesting history, unique features, and a surprising value, depending on its condition. Stick with me as we dive into the story behind this coin and discover why it might be a hidden treasure you don't want to miss. The 1964 Abraham Lincoln penny is a part of the series of pennies that were first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, following his death. The coin has become one of the most iconic and widely recognized in American coinage history. The 1964 version is significant because it was produced during the last year of the 90% copper content in U.S. pennies, which would soon be replaced by a copper-plated zinc composition starting in 1982. What makes the 1964 penny even more interesting is the D mint mark, which indicates that it was minted in Denver, Colorado. These mint marks are crucial for collectors, as they help identify where the coin was produced, and in some cases, can impact its value. Now, let's talk about how you can identify a genuine 1964 penny. At first glance, this coin looks like any other penny, but there are key details to look out for. The front side of the coin, known as the obverse, features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see a simple design of 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words, 1 cent, a design that was used on pennies from 1909 to 1958. The distinguishing mark that sets the 1964 penny apart is the small D mint mark located just to the right of Lincoln's shoulder. If you can't clearly see the mint mark, it could be worn down or possibly even misidentified, so be sure to check it under a magnifying glass or a good light. The 1964 penny has some specific details that are worth noting, especially for collectors. It weighs 3.11 grams, which is the standard weight for U.S. pennies from this time period. The composition is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it its distinctive reddish-brown color. The mint mark D signifies that it was minted in Denver. Other than this mint mark, there are no major differences between the 1964 penny and other pennies of the same year, but certain errors can increase its value dramatically. For example, you might find some 1964 pennies with double die errors or other misprints. These types of errors can make the coin more valuable to collectors, especially if the errors are rare and well-documented. So, why is this coin valuable? The 1964 Lincoln penny is not necessarily rare in terms of how many were produced, as the U.S. Mint struck billions of these coins. However, their value comes from their condition and the presence of any errors. A 1964 penny in excellent condition, especially one that has been well preserved, can fetch a higher price than a coin that has been worn down through circulation. The key to its value lies in its status as part of the last generation of copper pennies before the switch to a new composition in 1982. Many collectors find these pennies attractive because they are the last of their kind, and as copper continues to increase in value, the inherent metal content in these coins becomes more precious. The value of a 1964 penny can vary widely depending on its condition. Let's break it down. Worn or circulated coins. If your 1964 penny has been used for years and shows significant wear and tear, it may only be worth a few cents, maybe 10 to 15 cents at most. This is typical for any penny that's been circulating for a long time. Uncirculated coins. If you happen to have an uncirculated 1964 penny that's in pristine condition, its value can increase to around $1 to $2. These are pennies that have never been used in transactions and are in mint-like condition. Certified coins. If your 1964 penny has been graded by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), its value could rise even higher. A certified coin in higher grades, such as MS-65 or MS-66, could be worth anywhere from $5 to $10 or more, depending on the rarity and condition. You may be wondering just how much these coins can sell for at auctions. Well, here are a few examples. A 1964 penny in perfect, uncirculated condition sold for over $50 at a recent auction, thanks to its flawless appearance and high demand among collectors. Another rare 1964 penny with a minor double die error sold for more than $200, as errors like these make the coin a highly sought-after collector's item. While these high auction prices are not guaranteed for every coin, they do show the potential that this seemingly ordinary penny holds. So, what does all of this mean for you? Well, it's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones that are easy to overlook. If you find a 1964 Abraham Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it as just another penny. Check its condition, look for any unique features or errors, and you could be sitting on a rare gem. If you're lucky enough to find one in excellent condition, or even one with an error, you might just have a valuable piece of history in your hands. Keep an eye on your change, and you could be the next lucky person to discover a hidden treasure. 1967 that could be hiding in your change, and it might be worth much more than you think. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the rare and fascinating 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin could be sitting in your collection, or even in your pocket, and it may just make you richer than you expect. In 1909, the U.S. Mint introduced the Abraham Lincoln penny to honor the 16th President of the United States, and it has remained a staple of American coinage ever since. But in 1967, something unusual happened. The U.S. Mint, which usually places a mint mark to identify where a coin was produced, decided not to stamp the mint mark on some of their pennies that year. This small, subtle omission created a rare variety of coins that are now highly sought after by collectors and enthusiasts alike. The absence of a mint mark on the 1967 Lincoln penny is what makes it so interesting. Typically, mint marks like D for Denver or S for San Francisco are stamped on the coin to indicate where it was struck. But in 1967, some pennies came out of the Philadelphia Mint without any mint mark at all, which sparked curiosity and demand from coin collectors. Now, you might be wondering how you can tell if you found a genuine 1967 no mint mark penny. Well, it's not as difficult as you might think. First, you should look at the date on the penny. It will clearly read 1967. Then, check the reverse side of the penny. On a typical Lincoln penny, you will see the mint mark either beneath the date or near the bottom of the coin. On the 1967 no mint mark penny, however, there will be no mint mark at all. That's the first clue that you might have stumbled upon something valuable. The design on the obverse side of the penny, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile, will also look familiar. But the key here is that the 1967 no mint mark penny is distinguished by its lack of mint mark, which is where the rarity and potential value come into play. When it comes to identifying the 1967 no mint mark penny, there are a few important details to keep in mind. Weight: this penny weighs 2.5 grams, which is standard for all Lincoln cents. Material: like most pennies minted after 1982, the 1967 penny is made primarily of copper, with a thin coating of copper-plated zinc. Mint marks: the absence of a mint mark is the defining characteristic of the 1967 no mint mark penny. Most Lincoln pennies from this year have either a D, Denver, or an S, San Francisco, mint mark, but the Philadelphia Mint did not include one on some of their coins. It's also worth noting that some 1967 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint were unintentionally struck with errors, which can further affect their value. These errors, such as double dies or misprints, can make a coin even more rare and valuable. The 1967 no mint mark penny is rare because it represents a small anomaly in the production process. While many Lincoln pennies from this time period were struck with mint marks, these particular coins lack one. That small difference makes it highly desirable to collectors who are eager to find unusual and unique coins. As a result, this coin has gained significant attention in the numismatic community, and its value has risen over time. Whether you're an avid coin collector or simply someone who appreciates rare finds, the 1967 no mint mark penny is certainly one to keep an eye on. So, how much could this penny be worth? Well, that depends on its condition, worn or circulated. If the penny has been in circulation and shows signs of wear, its value will be closer to its face value, which is 1 cent. However, even worn examples can still be worth more than face value to the right collector. Uncirculated: if the coin is in pristine condition, without any signs of wear or damage, it could be worth anywhere from $5 to $10 or more, depending on the quality of the coin. These coins are much rarer and more desirable. Certified coins: if the coin is professionally graded and certified by a reputable grading service, it could be worth even more. Certified 1967 no mint mark pennies in mint condition can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction, particularly if the coin has no errors and is in excellent shape. Speaking of auctions, there have been some impressive sales of 1967 no mint mark pennies over the years. For example, one penny in mint condition with no errors was recently sold for $175 in an online auction. Another example saw a 1967 no mint mark penny with a slight error sell for over $500 at a major coin auction. These auction results show that while this coin may seem modest at first glance, it can fetch quite a significant sum if it's in the right condition and comes with a unique characteristic. So, what's the takeaway? If you come across a 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it as just another copper coin. It could be a rare treasure that's worth much more than you expect. Whether it's a penny from your own pocket change or one that you've inherited, take a moment to check it carefully. If you find one in good condition, you could be looking at a valuable piece of American history. And if you're lucky enough to have one of these coins in your collection, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. So, take the time to check your change, look for rare coins, and you may just find a hidden gem that could make you rich. If you enjoyed learning about the 1967 no mint mark penny, be sure to subscribe for more informative videos about rare pennies, valuable coins, and tips on how to spot hidden treasures in your change. Don't forget to check your pockets and coin jars. Who knows? You could have a rare 1967 no mint mark penny waiting to be discovered. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more coin-related content, and stay tuned for more tips on finding valuable coins. Happy coin hunting!